Hello again, everyone. My name is Alan, and today I'm going to talk you through the game loop. So that sounds pretty ominous, or doesn't, whatever. So, um, as with any loop program, we start at the bottom. These are all just the listeners, so I have some pre-collision, post-collision, and just collision listeners. Actually, I don't have any post-collision in there. I haven't used them yet, which is surprisingly enough. Um, then I have there's all the collisions. I have two touch listeners and one enter frame listener. So I've been really, as I'm building this, I've been thinking about efficiency. Um, so that's why I just have one enter frame listener for the whole game loop. However, it's a bit of a beast. So I think I could pretty much explain the entire game to you just with this enter frame listener, because everything is pivoted off it really. This and the touch listener. So I'm not going to bore you with everything, so I'm just going to explain these two functions and how the game works around them. So the enter frame first. Fia, if you don't know, is the little girl at the bottom. So I'm just going to give you a wee playthrough. This is what the game is currently at. So you attack with the crow, he returns. If you swipe up, Fia jumps. So swipe, swipe, attack, swipe, swipe. And if you double or triple click, the crow gets faster. So you can see how it's quite a clicky game. Okay, I got hit there. Obviously I'm not very good at my own game, it's just pretty depressing, but whenever. We'll truck on. Yeah, so that's the current playthrough. We increased the speed there a couple of days ago and widened those jumps out, slowed down the enemies a little bit, just basically iterating on feedback we got from people. And I completed the level, go me. So, in the frame handler, I gather velocity. I converted to the local content. So this is the slow time thing. So if you touch her, so I'll just do it now at the start. Bang! The lightning comes. Time slows down. So it's a wee power up. Then I want to set the game speed. I set the game speed to, I think I set it to 0.3. It's 0.3 times the speed. And the entire game, everything, the backgrounds, the girl's movement, Fia's movement, the crow's movement, the enemy's movement, everything is multiplied by a factor of the game speed. So if I reduce the game speed by 0.5, everything is half the speed. If I increase it to 1.5, everything is 1.5 times the speed. So this was a really good thing to implement from the start. It means I've got a lot of control there just by changing one number. So then, so that's what that's doing. Then for this one here, this is Fia's speed. So for her walking, originally I had it that you'll notice slopes in the level, and originally I had it that when she walked up and down the slopes, she actually slowed down because, well, I mean, it's physically correct. It's you know, and going down the slope, she would have sped up, but it was making the jumps too hard to judge, especially when you're trying to judge the crow and everything as well. It was just making it too difficult, and the controls just didn't feel right when she was, when she was slowing down and stuff. So let me just die there. The music will go. Yeah. So. Instead, I'm breaking the physics engine, and I'm just setting her going at one speed, come hell or high water. So, yeah, that's all this is doing. It's just setting her speed. So every 10 pixels, I increment the score by 1. This will probably change, but then if her health is less than or equal to 0, this is the end game scenario. Remove all the listeners. I should probably add to this. Actually, I have a few more listeners in there now. Remove everything and then call the go to menu function. and this cancels all the timers, cancels all the transitions, sets the game state to died and game.ended to true. Then our director will pick that up, and it'll take over from there, unloading the rest and reloading the menu back in. Or if she reached the end of the level, so that's the end position. I want to do the same thing, but I want to, instead of sending died to that go to menu, I'm going to send end, so it knows that she's ended and she's won the level. This is the lightning power up. So there's a couple of lines of code there trying to get it right. The problem is that it's just a normal sprite that I did in After Effects. But if the crow, you'll notice it still kind of squishes in a bit, but it's not as bad. If I click her, it kind of gets smaller and fatter when the crow goes in closer. I'll do it again. There. And she's gonna die. But it was way worse, and when you went far away, it stretched it really thin, and it just looked crap. So all of this is trying to stretch or compress the lightning by a factor. So if it's smaller, if he's closer, it's going to compress the X scale by more. Or if he's far away, it's going to actually increase the X scale because the Y scale is going to be so long. So it's increasing or decreasing the X scale on a factor of the Y scale. And I did get some help with the maths on this by Owen Harris and DIT, so I owe him for some of that. So then the next one is the crow ID. So I increment the crow's ID with every touch. So if you touch twice, the crow's ID will be 2, and then it resets back to 0 when the crow returns to the base position. So I had to do that for a couple of different reasons. I'm not going to go into it now. It's something that had to be done. So then I get the local content, and I get the distance between the 2 points, which is the touch point and the crow's position every frame. And I save the touch point as start X and start Y. And that will be in the touch handler up above. So then if the crow reaches that distance, I want to remove the wee little target table, the wee little target, and then that's just for if the level is 2, don't mind that. Reset the crow's ID to 0, and then reset the crow and return the crow to Fia. Or if the crow is not attacking, so crow not attacking means if the crow is actually going towards the touch position. If that is set to false, then the crow has already reached the touch position and is now returning home. So if its ID is 0. If that's the case and it has reached the distance between the touch position and the base position, then I set the ID to 0 again, and I just reset the crow. And reset the crow, what that's doing is it's making sure it's not flipped. So and its rotational velocity is set to 0, and all its velocities are set to 0, and a couple other little things in there. And then I call the table loops for the enemy 1, enemy 2, and enemy 3. So I'll just scoot up here, finish that. That's there, just a few collisions. This is the touch handler. So if the Y start of the event is greater than the Y start of the event plus 10, so the plus 10 means this is the swipe up on screen. So the plus 10 means there's a little bit of leeway. I mean, if you touch normally, you don't touch without moving a single pixel. You do move a little bit with a touch. So this is an error margin for your touch. So if the end position of the touch is greater than the start position of the touch on the Y-axis plus 10, then it's a swipe upwards and it's a jump. This again not equal to level 2. That's our test level that we developed just for new mechanics, new controls, see how it works, test it out. So get the angle between the coordinates, rotate the crow to that on in a transition, and attack. So attack is the main, it's the crow attack function. So it's the crow going towards the touch position, and it's up here a good bit. Here we go. So it's taking in the angle, the X touch, the Y touch, the status of the attack. So if it's attack or returning from an attack, if it's going to accelerate itself or if it's going to accelerate on multiple touches, and then if it's the first occurrence of this attack call. So this here, so if the crow exists, if the game is not finished already, and because this is called with a touch listener, so set up localize all the stuff, all the attributes, and set them onto the crow as an attribute of the crow object, because these need to stay. Actually, yeah, they're not localized then, they're actually global. So then if the status is attack, display the wee target, and that's the audio stuff. So this is where the actual fun happens here. So the crow, this here is the angle. So you'll notice when the crow flies around, he follows your mouse, the touch, quite nicely. So do you see him there? He's kind of spinning around. So to do that, I had to get his last angle and his current angle, and save the last angle globally and compare it against the current angle, and see if his angle has changed too much or too little. Then I added force to him in the direction of the touch, and yeah, that's it. I mean, that was easy enough. Like the return to FIA, you'll notice I showed it down to you before. It's the same thing. It sets an angle. It sets the Y scale to either 1 or -1, depending on what direction the crow is facing, right or left, and it gets that from the angle. So if the angle is less than -70, then he's facing left, so the Y scale has to be -1. And then I just call the same attack function up here again with different parameters. So this attack function basically will move the crow anywhere if you just put in a start and an end position. So it's pretty adaptable and global. It's nice. This is some of the sprite management stuff. I want to show you the ray casting. Anytime FIA leaves contact with a platform, she casts a ray downwards, and if there's a platform below her, she won't do anything. But if there's not any platform below her, then she's going to play the fall sequence. So it's actually it's quite a bit of code there for something that you'd nearly take for granted. So you'll see her when she falls here, she doesn't just continue running down, she falls. She plays a wee fall sequence. So I'll do it here where you have a better look. That was very fast. So let's see how far I get. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, got him. Alright, I think this is a pretty high jump here. So you'll see her now, she'll fall all the way down. Whee! Gone. So that's what the ray casting is doing. My ranged enemy. Here we go. So we have enemy 1. He's a normal melee enemy. You can kill him with the crow. We have enemy 2. Comes along now. He shoots a wee arrow down at her. So you can kill both him and the arrow, but he's quite fast. Oh, and there's enemy 3. So I'll explain enemy 3 to you. He's the crow enemy. He was difficult enough. Again, there was a lot of angle working out, and you know, it's very easy to make this difficult because you can just get him to follow the crow's position all the time, that enemy 3. And no matter where you go, he just follows. So I had to get him to only follow the crow for a certain amount of time. But it wasn't a certain amount of time I chose. I chose follow him until his angle has passed 180. So if you can get ahead of him, he stops. If you don't get ahead of him, he keeps going. So that's the way he's working. Let me just get rid of that. And that's my entire game loop. I hope it didn't bore you too much. And if you're still watching after all of that, well done. And thank you very much for listening.